The conclusion from The Power of a Positive No by William Ury. The marriage of yes and no. Advice from a tree. Stand tall and proud. Sink your roots deeply into the earth. Reflect the light of a greater source. Think long term. Go out on a limb. Be flexible. Remember your roots. Enjoy the view. From Ilan Shamar. We have now completed the process of a positive no. We have discussed, step by step, how to prepare, deliver, and follow through on your yes, exclamation point, no, period, yes, question mark. As a final review, let us take one extraordinarily challenging situation and see how all the steps can work together to produce a powerful and productive, positive no. Citrix Systems, a small Florida-based company that pioneered networking software, found itself in the uncomfortable position of having to say no to a more powerful partner. Not just any partner, but the most powerful software company in the world. Microsoft was a partner of Citrix at the time, with a 6% ownership stake. One day in February 1997, Microsoft announced its intention to go into direct competition with Citrix, making its own version of the networking software. When the news became public, Citrix's stock price plunged by 62% in a single day, and its very survival seemed highly uncertain. How could a small company possibly compete with Microsoft? Employees panicked, fearing for their jobs and stock options. Clients worried about who would service their software. Investors sold their shares. But instead of panicking along with the rest, the chairman and the CEO at Citrix went to the balcony and prepared. They began by uncovering their yes, which was to continue in business, making the network software that was their specialty and passion. Their vastly preferred option was to continue partnering with Microsoft. So they decided to seek to reverse Microsoft's decision, in other words, to say no. As a second step, Citrix sought to empower their no, given the great possibility that they would not be successful in persuading Microsoft to change their minds. They thought through their plan B, going head-to-head with Microsoft. To use the $175 million the company had in cash reserves. The CEO then traveled around the country meeting with key customers to reassure them that the company would be around to service their software. None of their customers chose to leave. Meanwhile, the chairman sought to engage directly with Microsoft. How could he respect his way to yes? Question mark. Knowing that Microsoft prized technical expertise, he assembled a team of the best technical minds in the company and flew with them across the country to Microsoft headquarters, where he leased 4 apartments for a year and announced to Microsoft that they were there to stay as long as it took to find a way to address the concerns that had led Microsoft to abandon the partnership. This was a strong signal of respect. Having prepared thoroughly, Citrix was ready to deliver positive no. The elements of their positive no were clear. They expressed their yes to staying in business, asserted their no to Microsoft's decision to abandon its partnership with Citrix, and proposed a yes to a mutually satisfying agreement that would allow Citrix and Microsoft to continue to work together on the best networking software in the marketplace. Having delivered their positive no, Citrix now had to follow through. "I think they weren't sure what to make of us," said one Citrix negotiator, "because we wouldn't give in and we wouldn't go away. They stayed true to their yes and listened very carefully to their partner. They then began to underscore their no by posing a reality testing question to Microsoft, asking them if they had really thought about how long it would take them to develop a new competing software. Months or perhaps years. Throughout, Citrix continued to try to negotiate to yes. Since Microsoft's key interest was to have control over the evolution of a new and important type of software, the challenge for Citrix became how to give Microsoft the control they needed while allowing Citrix to remain an independent company. Listening keenly to Microsoft's unmet needs, the Citrix team worked on developing an attractive solution for mutual gain. They also tried to make it as easy as possible for Microsoft to reverse their decision without looking foolish. Indeed, by agreeing, Microsoft would be able to improve its reputation as a trustworthy partner. In the end, against the odds, Citrix succeeded. After 10 weeks of intense negotiations, Microsoft decided not to compete, but to work with Citrix instead. At a joint press conference, both companies announced their agreement as a win-win. That is exactly the kind of acceptance speech you would like the other to deliver when they explain why they have accepted your proposal. Citrix and Microsoft continue to work as close partners for the next 10 years and beyond. As this example illustrates, even in a case where the other is much more powerful than you, it is possible to say no and still get to yes. The secret lies in the positive no. The next part, marrying yes and no. The positive no represents a marriage of the two most fundamental words in the language, yes and no. The great problem today is that we have divorced our yeses from our nos. Yes without no is appeasement, whereas no without yes is war. Yes without no destroys one's own satisfaction, whereas no without yes destroys one's relationship with others. We need both yes and no together. Yes is the key word of community. No, the key word of individuality. Yes is the key word of connection. No, the key word of protection. Yes is the key word of peace, and no, the key word of justice. The great art is to learn to integrate the two, to marry yes and no. That is the secret to standing up for yourself and what you need without destroying valuable agreements and precious relationships. That is what a positive no seeks to achieve. Practicing the positive no. As I was writing these words in the room of a mountain inn, my eyes fell on a simple no smoking sign that was phrased as follows: in order to accommodate the pleasure of all our guests, this is a non-smoking room. We ask that you smoke in our smoking room, the great outdoors. Thank you. This no has all three basic parts of a positive no. It affirms the innkeeper's underlying yes to accommodate the pleasure of all our guests. It spells out the no in a matter-of-fact statement of reality. This is a non-smoking room, and it leads immediately to a concrete and constructive yes. We ask that you smoke in our smoking room, the great outdoors. It ends with a simple gesture of respect. Thank you. Just as the innkeepers knew instinctively, each of us probably already knows the basic elements of a positive no. It is common sense, or perhaps uncommon sense, since so many of our no's fail to follow the simple pattern. It is my strong hope that the simple yes, no, yes framework outlined in this book will help make it easier for you to say no in a positive and effective manner. As with most challenges, preparation and practice help. Indeed, once you have practiced this method, it takes less and less time to prepare, sometimes only a few seconds. Generally, however, the more preparation, the better. Begin by paying closer attention to how you say no. Is your tendency to accommodate, to attack, or to avoid, or a combination of all three? Notice when you say no well and when you don't. With whom do you have the greatest difficulties? Is it your boss, your children, your elderly parents? Observe your unhealthy yeses and your unhealthy no's. Reflect on what works and what doesn't. Then try again. Keep practicing. It is a good exercise to say no at least once a day in a situation that counts. For those of us who are accommodators, it is important to run the risk of sounding disagreeable and making someone upset. Remember that you have the right to say no, indeed the duty to yourself to say no when it really matters. If you are having difficulty, find yourself a coach and rehearse. If you have an important speech or presentation to give, you would rehearse it as a matter of course. Saying no to a boss, key customer, spouse, or child may be among the most important speeches you ever give. So try out your no on a friend or a colleague. Get some feedback, improve on it, and try it out again. Anticipate the various ways the other may react to your no, and have a plan for how to respond to each. Your friend can play the other person, and you can practice not reacting to provocation and pressure. Once you have heard and experienced the great variety of human manipulations, it is easier to withstand them in real life. Use your friends as supporters throughout the process. Tell them you are going to deliver an important no and stick to it. Commit yourself. Your friends can help you overcome your emotional resistance to saying no and can support you if the other pressures you to back down. Changing old patterns takes practice. Fortunately, each of us is offered many opportunities a day to practice saying no. Think of it like exercise. You are building your positive no muscles. With daily exercise, that muscle will get stronger and stronger. With practice and reflection, anyone can improve greatly at the art of saying no. And the final piece, giving the gift of no. The way we say no may sometimes seem like a small thing, but over time it makes a huge difference in our lives, in the lives of others around us, and in the world at large. In saying no positively, we are giving ourselves a gift. We are creating time and space for what we want. We are protecting what we value. We are changing the situation for the better, and all the while keeping our friends, colleagues, and customers. In short, we are being true to ourselves through the simple daily practice of saying no positively. We are contributing to the quality of our lives, our success at work, and our happiness at home. It is a gift we owe ourselves. Your no can be a gift to the other as well. Tell me yes, tell me no, but tell me now is a refrain I have often heard from those on the receiving end. The other often much prefers a clear answer, even if it is a no, than continued indecision and waffling. A no allows them to go ahead and make their own decisions. Indeed, a positive no can bring us closer to the other and to a more authentic relationship. If we do not speak our truth, our no, we may in fact distance ourselves from the other, as there will always be something important that lies unspoken between us. One friend of mine who was separating temporarily from his wife put it this way: we needed to disentangle ourselves in order to reconnect, and they found that they did reconnect in a much healthier relationship. An honest and respectful no can benefit both parties. Saying no is a gift, not only to ourselves and the other, but also to the larger whole. Imagine for a moment a world in which positive no's were the norm, not the exception. At home, parents who knew how to deliver respectful no's to their children would see a lot less destructive strife, and their children would be less spoiled and much happier, as children are when they grow up with firm, respectful limits. Those who are in troubled relationships would find that their marriages and friendships have a much greater chance of succeeding. In the workplace, managers and leaders who knew how to say no would do a much better job of keeping their organizations strategically focused. People in departments such as finance and human resources who regularly have to say no to internal clients would be able to contribute more effectively to the organization's success. People in sales would know when and how to say no to customers and would feel supported in doing so. And everyone would be more empowered to create a healthier balance between work and personal life. In the world at large, if people knew how to say no positively, they would stand up for what is right in productive ways that lead to constructive solutions. The results might be more contention in the beginning, but much less war and much more justice in the end. Finally, Mother Earth herself would be a prime beneficiary as her children learned how to say no to runaway excesses that threaten the natural environment on which we and all future generations depend. There is no doubt that delivering a positive no requires courage, vision, empathy, fortitude, patience, and persistence. But it is within the reach of everyone every day, and the rewards are potentially enormous. By rehabilitating no and marrying it with yes, we can make a better life for ourselves and for those around us. In the process, we can build a better world for our children and grandchildren based on integrity, dignity, and mutual respect. You don't have to choose between saying no and getting to yes. You can do both. You can say no positively. In closing, I wish you the kind of success that can come only from being true to yourself and respectful to others. And that was the end of that. Let me see, there's a little bit in the back. I'm going to put this piece of the book up here so it can remind you. Oh, that did not work. Go out here. This has been the book, The Power of a Positive Now, that we've been reading. And this last little piece is about the author. A negotiator, public speaker, and best-selling author William Ury directs the Global Negotiation Project at Harvard University. He is co-author of Getting to Yes, and author of Getting Past No, and The Third Side. Over the past 3 decades, Ury has mediated in conflicts ranging from coal strikes to boardroom battles to civil wars around the world. He has taught negotiation to tens of thousands of leaders in business, government, and the nonprofit sector. Ury is co-founder of the e-Parliament, www.e-parl.net, a problem-solving forum for effective legislation, connecting members of Congress and Parliament around the world. He also leads the Abraham Path Initiative at www.abrahampath.org, which seeks to create a permanent path of tourism and pilgrimage in the Middle East, retracing the footsteps of Abraham, the unifying figure of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Trained as an anthropologist, Ury holds a BA from Yale and a PhD from Harvard. For further information, please visit www.williamury.com or send an email to info@williamury.com. Again, I appreciate you listening. Thank you so much.